Hello and welcome to your practice. So today we're going to have just a really short practice working on the hip stabilizer, so the gluteus medius and the external rotators, the glute max. So we're working on the booty today. First we're going to do some myofascial release, and you'll need two small balls. They could be tennis balls, or maybe a slightly larger. This is a center round by RAD. I love these so much. So it depends on how sensitive you are. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the balls. So I'll show you first with this one. We're just going to go find the hip point here, and then we're just going to go lateral to that. So just behind the hip point, and it's a bit higher than you think. We are going to come down a bit lower, but we're just going to come just to the outside of that hip point. So you can either use the larger ball here, right? And we're just going to maybe bend this leg. This leg can stay with the foot on the floor, and then we'll use the elbow to rest on here. I personally like to use these, so I'm going to use these. And I'm just going to put them together. If you just use one, it's going to be a bit more intense, right? So we're just going to kind of move a little bit, and it shouldn't take long to find something meaningful. So you might feel some trigger points, some soreness there, and then when you do, you're just going to pause and kind of sink into the balls, relax a little bit if you can. It might be really intense. So again, if it's intense, the two balls or the softer, larger ball. And you can even do this with a rolled up blanket as well, if this one is too intense. All right. And then you're just going to move a little bit and find one other spot in that upper glute area. It's like a massage. And then you'll just pause again when you find something, a different spot, and just focus on the breath. Seeing if you can relax those tissues around that area and just letting them kind of melt onto the balls. So we're trying to wake up this area, refresh it, hydrating the fascia there. All right, and then we'll just remove the ball. So really 60 to 90 seconds, and then you're just gonna lay back, take a breath or two here and notice any difference between the two sides. Maybe the side that you rolled feels softer or lighter, maybe more connected to the mat. And then we'll switch sides. So I'm just going to turn this way. And so then again, just choosing maybe the same thing on each side. So find that frontal hip point, and then you're just going to go just behind that. And then you'll come down. You'll notice the difference between the sides. One side might feel really tender. The other side might not feel as much. So you're just going to kind of roll forward and back or up and down until you find something that might feel a little tender or is just giving you some sort of feedback. And then pause and enjoy. And if it's so intense that the muscles are really contracting, then find something that is softer or less intense. Even a block with a blanket on top of it would work. A roller, a smaller foam roller would also work for this. All right, now we're gonna move just a little bit till you find another spot in that general vicinity. And then again, you'll pause. And just noticing what you feel, right? Without attaching a story to it. And just being curious. Okay, so then we're going to remove those. And again, just lie back and notice. Maybe now each side is feeling a little bit more even and connected. And we're going to do one more with the ball. So you're going to bend your knees and we're going to take them and we're just going to lift the hips. But I'm going to get up and show you. We're going to put them right here in that kind of bullseye area of the glutes here. So now this one is going to be more in the rotator area, the external rotators. And I guess abductors too, the piriformis muscle. So once you get them in there, you can just let the hips sink down. If that's enough, you can stay there. Maybe you lift the legs here, so that's going to create more intensity. You can do some little marching with the feet. So lifting one leg and then tapping the toes. So lots of options here. You could bring the feet down. I really love to do this. Just shift my hips back and forth, side to side, maybe even making little circles. And so then you can also, you might have to kind of stick them back in there every once in a while. You can also just slightly turn the knees towards one direction, so you're getting more pressure on one side. And then the other side. And then another one, I'll show you this one too, is you can even cross this ankle over here. And that's going to give you just a little bit of a different sensation as well. All right. And then just maybe find one more spot where you just want to be still. And then you can remove that. So we'll be done with these for now. And then again, you're just gonna kind of lay back, notice what you notice here. And this one really gives this nice body-wide effect. Really good for the nervous system. All right, so from here, I'm gonna have you bring the soles of the feet. Actually, I'm gonna move this way. So we're gonna come onto the side here. And then you wanna have the soles of the feet in line with the hips here as much as possible. We're just gonna come into this side-lying abduction of the leg. So you want to have your hips stacked. Imagine there's a skewer going through your hips so that they're directly, this top hip is directly on top of the bottom hip here. All right, and we're targeting this gluteus medius, this area right here, this hip stabilizer. So flex the foot and you're just gonna lift and lower nice and slow. And I want you to bring your focus here to this spot here. This is where you should really be feeling this. So that's about 10 right there. All right. And we'll bring it down. And then we're going to come back up. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do, it's like you're pressing a gas pedal. So you're going to bend the knee up towards the chest, and then you're going to press it straight, nice and slow. And again, bring the attention here to this area. If you're feeling it somewhere else, see if you can guide your attention to engaging in this stabilizing area. So this is 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to come in doing a second round here. Okay, so again, this leg is straight. We're going to lift and lower. Ooh, I'm feeling it. All right, so that's 10, and then we're going to come back into that gas pedal. So if you're not feeling it here, check to make sure the hips are stacked. Make sure that you are like mentally seeing if you can bring your attention here. Sometimes this gets offline and we compensate somewhere else. So just be curious and notice about that. I think I just did 10, I don't know. All right, so I would say do 2 sets. Maybe 3, you could pause it and then you could do a 3rd set here. I'm just gonna do 2 for now. And then I'm gonna switch sides because I'm really feeling it. Ooh, okay, so switch sides. And then again, you wanna have that foot lined up with the hips. You could even press yourself up against a wall here just to make sure that the foot is lined up with the back of the body. And then this top leg's going to come long. Remember, we're going to stack the hips. Imagine that you're putting something all the way through, pinning you down. And then we're going to lift and lower. I'm really bringing my attention here and overly almost compensating and exaggerating that engagement here. All right, so that's 10, and then I'm going to do the gas pedal. So draw it in, flexing the foot, press. Seven, 8, 9. You should really be feeling that now. All right. There we go. I'm just going to let it come down. And then we're going to do 1 more set. And then, like I said, you can pause it and do another set too. All right, so we're just going to come up. Again, I'm going to check to see if my hips are stacked. And then slow lift and lower. All right. And now the gas pedal. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. All right. And now we're going to stay on the back, so you can just flip over onto your back onto your back. And we're going to come into some bridge lifts. Okay, so you could just do bridge lifts with 2 legs, with both legs down, all right? But I'm going to go ahead and show you the single leg bridge lift here. So we're going to press the hips up, and I just want you to maybe even put your hands on the hip points here. So we just want to make sure that our hips stay level. So what we're trying to avoid is a dipping of one side. All right, and then you're going to notice too that there's probably one side that is a little bit weaker, and that's kind of what we want to try to figure out here. All right, so the hips are lifted, and then we're going to, you can even keep your hands here, you could lift one leg, see if you can keep that lifted leg at the same height, so we don't want it to dip down. See if you can keep it lifted, and then we're going to bring that down. And then same thing with the other side. Lift it up, and then bring it down. So we'll keep going. So I notice my right side really wants to dip down, but my left stays up pretty easily. So just kind of noticing which side seems to be a little weaker. And I would say maybe do 10 on each side. I haven't been counting. But this is just your homework video, so you can always pause it. And I'm really feeling that in my glutes here. That's where you want to be feeling it. All right, we're going to lower the hips, maybe even draw the knees in here. Maybe just do a little side to side. I also like to kind of circle my knees out and then back in and then switch directions. All right. Next one, still on the mat. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together in this Supta Baddha Konasana, or this reclined butterfly here. Now maybe just enjoy that for a breath or two. I love this pose so much. All right, but we're going to work in it now. So we're going to press the feet together, press the feet into the mat. Bring your hands to the floor, and then we're going to lift the hips. So it's a kind of different version of the bridge lift. And lower. You're getting into the back of the legs as well. So that's 10. Ooh. And then we'll do another set of 10 on that one. All right. 5. And of course you can always pause it and you can do another set. There we go. Ooh. All right, so now just bring your feet to the width of the mat and allow your knees to touch together. Constructive rest here. Just let the back start to just unwind a little bit. All right, and then we're just going to bring the knees into the chest. Ooh. And then we'll rock up to seated. All right, so from here, we're going to be leaning back on the hands. You're going to draw the shoulders back. See if you can lift the chest up here, okay? So this might be enough. Otherwise, see if you can just lift one leg and then tap it down. And then we're going to lift another leg and tap it down. Maybe you reach the arms forward. So drawing in through the low belly. Maybe lifting both legs here and tap, tap. All right. Let's do 2 more each side. Okay. And then we can just come to seated. Take a breath. And we're going to do one more for these hip stabilizers. And this we will use a block. So we're going to do some block swings. You could also use a heavy book or a step. If you have a step, an aerobic step, you could use that as well. So we're gonna step one foot onto the block here, and you can be next to a wall as well with your hand on the wall. But I wanna stand forward so you can see here. Okay, so we're gonna stand on the block, so make sure that your heel is on the block. If your toes come off the end, that's okay. All right, and then notice how this side of the hip, when we step this foot down, this side pops out to the side, right? It gets sassy. Well, we don't want to be sassy in the hip. We want to pull that hip in. We want to draw it in here. So we're engaging here. Again, we're bringing the focus to this hip stabilizer, this muscle, this gluteus medius, which is all around here, all right? So from here, see if you can start to float this leg. You should already feel this turning on here. Bring the attention here. Now let this the non-standing leg, just let it get really loose like a noodle. All right, that might be enough. You might just have your hand on the wall just for balance. Then maybe this leg starts to swing. And just let it be really not engaged. If you're feeling it somewhere else in your leg, see if you can engage this muscle here. Maybe eventually, maybe make some circles. Direction. You should be feeling it by now. I'm definitely feeling it. All right, so I would say probably 30 seconds to a minute on each side. And then we'll switch sides here. And then this time, what I'll do is I will turn this way and then show you how you can just, my painting's there, but you can just kind of bring your hand to the wall for a little bit of balance. So again, noticing if this hip is popping out, draw it in. Let the right leg or the opposite leg just get loose. You might just start by standing, and then you can start swinging this noodly leg. It's like a noodle, like a limp noodle. And maybe make circles. But I would say don't worry about the circles. If the balance is, you're working on the balance, maybe just work on that first. Even if you're just standing still, just working on the balance. And then maybe start swinging. Like that. And then again, like I said, for 30 to 60 seconds. So these are exercises, poses are all going to be really good for strengthening in the glutes, glute max, glute med, getting that strength going. And then next time we'll work on building in some more flexibility in with that. So thank you for joining me. Enjoy your practice, and I will see you next time. Bye.